Greetings and welcome to another Diablo 4 video, Vessel of Hatred first build guide, and this time we are running the Spiritborn, the new class with a full Centipede build, all Centipede skills. Spirit Hall is also double Centipede, and this is also sometimes referred to as the quote-unquote hammered-in build of Diablo 4 because we have spinning poison swarms around us that you might see, might not see. Sometimes it's hard to see because there's a lot going on. But let's get right into the abilities in the skill tree. I have Withering Fist with Enhanced and Accelerated to give me some damage reduction against like bosses, for example. I'm not really using Withering Fist that much because we don't need it. Only against single targets where we lack a little bit of bigger regeneration. And then Stinger is our main damage ability together with Advantageous Stinger. Then if we go down here, I'm opted for Toxic Skin because I really like the extra poison damage and the unhindered that it gives me because we have a lot of points in Unrestrained Power, which gives me multiplicative damage when I'm unhindered or unstoppable. Unhindered is a new keyword that means characters can move through enemies and their movement speed cannot be reduced, so you can still be hard CC'd but not be slowed, for example. And yeah, fun, not so fun fact, you cannot move through the wall that is put up with the Waller affix of elite enemies. Unfortunately, that would be cool. Then we go here, we have 1 in the focal point, 3 into apex, more damage against vulnerable enemies, and then we take less damage from them. Moving down here, I put 3 out of 5, which seems a bit weird. Points in the Scourge, you can only put 1 if you like. Then put 2 points into wherever you want. I had 2 points still available, so I put them for now here. Then Enhance and Reinforce Scourge. I'm also running Vehemence to increase the damage of my potency skills, which here is Touch of Death together with Enhance and Invasive, and we are maxing this out. And then we have Ravenous and Oppressive to deal more Centipede skill damage. And then our big boy, the Devourer, as well, which is maxed out to reduce the cooldown and enhance the damage. And we have a lot of ultimate passive, so our ultimate is really a key thing here because we get increased damage to elites, or rather the ultimate skill. No, yeah, it grants me increased damage to elites, sorry. And then we only have 1 here because we don't really need max vigor, only 1 here because we really don't need the heal. But we want Intigracy so that we can reuse our potency, defensive, or focus skill. So mostly it's either Touch of Death or Scourge, depending on the circumstances. Against bosses is Touch of Death is better, and I really like to CC from Scourge against a lot of monsters like in the pit. And then we get Initiative, which makes me unstoppable, going back to our passive, which gives us multiplicative damage when we are unstoppable. And then we have Supremacy, which just straight out gives us more damage. As the key passive, you might have guessed, is Noxious Resonance, which scales with critical strike damage bonus because critical strikes deal my poison damage instantly. So I still need to find better gear to ramp up this key passive with critical strike damage bonus. Right now my gear is really suboptimal, that's why we are on Torment 2 doing okay. Some bosses are pretty hard, like the Uber bosses, depending on which boss. Torment 1 is a breeze, but then the difference between Torment 1 and Torment 2 is pretty stark, actually. But we can do the pit level 35 with no problem. Moving into Paragon, we only have 123 points yet, so not even half the points, or rather, I mean, with 200, they say you have like your build refined, and then we have 100 extra. But going through it on the starter, we have Fitness for more critical strike damage, so a key passive can scale. And then I got the Consumption together with Conversions right here to give me 30% more damage. And then Sapping, since we are only using Centipede skills anyways, this is always up, so 30% more damage, and then restoring my vigor as well. Then I got to here recently to get faster, giving my Centipede skills more damage flat out and more damage against out-controlled enemies. So that's pretty reasonable. And then the next one or others would be Bane for poison damage and or Canny, probably both, because we can still have 2 boards if I remember correctly. So these 2 I already put to level 15, so I have the wider range. Moving on to the gear, I got the Loyalties Mantle, so that when our Spirit Hall choices match, which they do, the bonuses are more potent, and then skills are 40% less expensive in terms of vigor cost, and also I have 40% more cooldown reduction, so this could roll even higher, but with that we already got almost continuous uptime of the Devourer of our big Centipede, and not quite as much, so it would be better to have this a bit higher. I'm not sure what is the max cooldown that we can reach, but most often with some other buffs and bonuses, this actually goes to be active still while off cooldown. I know why it's like 24 seconds, because it lasts for 15 seconds, but there's other effects here that lower my cooldowns as well. Moving on is the tenacity that we got here, because this gives us resolve. You notice that we didn't have any other skill with resolve, but resolve in general just flat out gives us 20% damage reduction, so I just put it for now right here. And like the standard stuff, dexterity, max life, armor, and here we have still legendary, it's not ancestral yet, so we have unprinted the Insatiable because we're using Touch of Death. Then we got the Binding Morris right here, which is pretty cool because it technically it always slows the enemy because we're dealing indirect damage with our poison, and then we deal extra damage against slowed enemies. And then I have the rune word Poktal in here, so that if I spend my resource, I invoke a Pestilence Swarm. And more to that in a second, why we do Pestilence Swarms. Here we have Ragnar's Wake, which kind of fills out a lot of things. It gives us movement speed, gives us non-fizz damage, gives us resistance to all elements, and cooldown reduction. I'm not really fond of the unique effect. I think it's pretty weak, but all other things are very, very nice. So that's why I got these boots right now. And we got a quarterstaff right here, giving us a little bit of block chance, and then Ravenous and Centipede damage for the tempering. And we got the Pestilence for the Pestilence Swarms again. So they last longer and they spiral outwards, and with every stinger that I use, I spawn a Pestilence Swarm. Then on the amulet, I just realized that I didn't even put the right aspect. I recently swapped this out because I found an amulet with +2 Ravenous, giving us more Centipede damage. So let's do this. And this was... sorry. Infestation, so they have a lucky hit that I also spawn a Pestilence Swarm. And then the Umbral, we still need the Umbral, I think. At least it's pretty neat, so I don't have to use basic attacks through the normal monster packs. So I have it for now, and I was lucky to get a greater affix critical strike damage ring right here. And then this one is also pretty great to drop. It's an ancestral ring of the Writhing Moon. This one gives us the like quote-unquote hammered in aspect, because Pestilence Swarms now orbit around me and generate 1 vigor per hit. I need to test it out if I still need the Umbral, but for now this is what I'm taking and this is what I'm using. It also gives us chance to make enemies vulnerable, a lot of movement speed and crit strike chance as well. So I believe that is everything. Oh no, we also have Mercenaries. I got right here with Valiance, Shield Charge, Guard, and actually, is this showing here? So now I have 1342 armor. That's kind of weird. Anyways, might be because right here, because before I had 1000 armor and I swapped the Mercenaries back and forth, and now I have more armor. Anyways, the good thing is Valiant, and then Creator and Summoning Thunder Shield for vulnerable. And here we get, where is it? Here, the Fortify. So his basic attacks fortify me, so I'm fortified pretty much all the time after some time. And then Fortify also gives me 50% damage reduction. And then for the reinforcement, got Variana with Earthbreaker. I just coupled it to my Stinger because I want her just to use it whenever the cooldown is ready, and it knocks down enemies. Alright, enough talking. 10 minutes for the build. Let's go into Torment 35. So this is tier 35. This is for Torment 2. You need to beat this to unlock Torment 2, which I already have, and I also played around in Torment 2. But the difference between Torment 1 and Torment 2 is really big. So in Torment 1 I can easily kill everything, and in Torment 2 I can kill everything, but not maybe that easily. But we'll see. So here I like to use what's it called? I still fairly new these skills. Scourge, and then my Centipede. I didn't pay attention right here. So that it will reset my Scourge, because I have a lot of monster groups and I like to use Scourge for crowd control as well. I guess Touch of Death would deal more damage, alright. As you can see, the Centipede is up again, and I can just use it every time. And what I really love about the Centipede, it's following you, so you can use it wherever you want, even though like there's not the largest monster group maybe next to you, because it will just come with you to the next monster group after a few seconds, to be fair.
Need more time.
But you're not losing a lot of uptime on the ultimate or something. It's just pretty neat.
Impressive, unfortunately.
Need more time.
So you can see here the spiraling pestilence swarms. Some people refer to it as like Hamadin build. I mean, I get it, there's something spiraling around us, but it is nowhere close to a Hamadin build. Look at this, that's a lot. Because Hamadin is only spiraling hammers, and then has an aura and some other passive stuff. But here, actually the spiraling of the pestilence swarms is the passive. And everything else are active things that I'm doing to proc them. Like, I would argue the playstyle is vastly different. So I'm really surprised that people call it Hamadin build when it's just something spiraling around. I mean, I would call the Boulder Druid a Hamadin build more than this one, because you're actually casting the boulders actively with the Dolmen Stone unique, so that they spiral around you if you have Hurricane active. That's pretty smooth. So now I use Touch of Death, Centipede, Touch of Death, Touch of Death, Touch of Death, Touch of Death. And then what is cool that I still have the basic, I can use it right now to give me 20% DR against this boss, but also I can dodge away and then I can dash again into the boss with my basic, because the basic has an inherent dash. And there we go. Pit 35, and then we can get some more pester maybe. And that was it. This is the Centipede, all-out Centipede build. And I know there are other variants out there where you like mix and match and you do like different Spirit Hall, different unique here that gives you more increased damage because you have different Spirit Hall choices. But I figured this is pretty fun, and this is like an all-out Centipede build, which is still growing, and it's still getting stronger. I still need more glyphs. I still need to min-max some of my gear, as you saw. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck, have fun, and goodbye.